Okay, so the objective of this video documentation is just to demonstrate the current pain point that I'm having whenever I have to publish a question paper or any form of QA document that has been uploaded on the platform by a user, right? So you'd know that the process is that you go onto the platform. Let me just sign in into the platform, into the web platform, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But I just want to make this video document to actually show you my internet is so slow. Just look at how long this is taking to load. I want to document the process or the pain point that I'm having right now with the process of publishing a question paper of any sort, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what I'm talking about, right? You'd recall that the objective with why this exists, the main objective with why this exists, is that I wanted to. So Study Center initially started as an idea back in 2017-18 when there was the Fees Must Fall movement. I was still a student back then, and we were not allowed to go onto campus. So I wanted a way in which you could still, because we were just approaching the exams, if I recall very well. But then I couldn't have that physical ability to physically sit down with some of my friends, Abotabo and people like that, whereby we would going through question papers and saying exam jita, we better run question and so exam I choose better run question and so. So then I was like, okay, let me just then create a platform. It would be better if there was a platform that could allow you to have these discussions centered around a particular question paper for that module, right? But not more so, as I started working on this platform, you would see that each and every discussion we try to, or rather the platform tries to make it possible to have a discussion at a very particular point, right? So instead of just enabling you to say, discuss exam opportunity 3, this question paper as it is, you have the opportunity, or the ability rather, to then say you're going to only focus on the discussion around 1.18. So that's the whole objective. And that will be one of the main design principles, or the main what I'm trying to say is it's going to be one of the factors that we will follow, or that I will follow whenever I have to design something for this platform. It will have to be a factor that contributes to all the design principles that will be followed. To say that always make sure that you try to make discussions simple, not just simple, but to make sure that the discussion can be had around the smallest unit as possible. Yes, that's the way I wanted to put it. Have discussions at a smallest unit as small as possible, right? I've been talking for too long. Now let me show you the pain point that I was talking about when I started this documentation. I've been rambling on for too long. So as a user of this platform, you have the ability to request for something to be published, right? And once you went ahead and you published that, I'm sure it's going to be documented in another video. And then from the admin portal, we then are able to see all of those content, right? So as an admin or someone who's responsible for all of that, currently this is how it's done. We can then come here and you see a list of all the requested past papers in this case, since I chose the past paper. Yeah, the internet is so slow, man, right? Then from there, obviously download the past paper. And then after downloading it, then you have to go through it, right? As you can see, this form is the one form that you use to publish a question paper. So things like title, date on paper, paper type, these are some of the metadata that I believe makes it easier for you to know more about the paper that you're looking at. So this is the title here, This is the date, right, on the paper. And then this is the paper type. So you see we have exam paper as well as test paper. Test paper, these are your semester tests and things like that. And then exam paper, these are your EOs, in the case of course modules. It's your examinations, right? So when you come over here, you then look, when you click on this and you just expand it, you then see that each and every, so you see this question 1.1a, 1.1b, right? And if I was to go ahead and download this paper, you'll actually see what I'm talking about. If I was to go ahead and download this paper, the one that has already been published here, you'll see that this question paper has question 1.1a, 1.1b, and so on and so on. This is just to allow us, again, going back to that beautiful sentence, to make sure that discussions can be had, Q&As can be had at the smallest unit as possible, right? Is this the smallest unit for a question paper? Yes, because that's the question, right? So you can go ahead and discuss whatever you want to discuss around this particular question. Cool. So let's go back to this publishing process again. Now let's put this thing over here. With this publishing process for this question paper, let's take this question paper for instance, right? No, I actually have downloaded this one. So I have to go ahead and then let's say in this case, this question paper are images that were taken via a camera. Yeah, right? I mean, you use a camera to take images, obviously, for touch. Stop it, stupid. Okay, I'm gonna close this. What happens then is that I have to go through. Hey man, I have to go through this question paper. Firstly, you have to check, is the question paper complete, right? So if you come back here again, you will see that it asks, is the paper complete? One of, again, the metadata that we use to ensure that you know as much about a question paper as possible without having to go too much, to spend too much time. So you see this question paper here, semester test 2. If I was to bring this over here, you see it. Then there's a field here that tells you that question paper is not complete. Before you even go ahead and download it, you already know, oh, okay, this question paper is not complete. So that's the type of metadata that I tried to during the design. I was thinking that maybe this is going to be important, right? And then you have another metadata information here to say, is paper a memo? You know that those papers whereby it's a memo on its own, right? So that's another type of metadata information that is going to be useful. I think these are just assumptions. It's going to be useful for the person that's currently going through that question paper, interested in that question paper, right? So you then have to go through the publishing process involves going through this question paper. What is you? This long thing, Leon. But essentially, you have to scroll through this paper, check, you see there's a page number at the bottom. You have to check, is this question paper complete? That's the first thing that you have to do, right? Once you've checked if it's complete or not, and then I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to then say yes or no, if the question paper is complete or not. Again, is it a memo and things like that. It's not a memo, right? And then once you're done with that, I have to then now start listing the question paper. You see it says 1.1a, 1.1b. You go ahead and then you list all of these things. You list all of these things, you list all of these things, so that you promote the ability to have those discussions at the smallest unit as possible. Alright? Cool. But now, the challenge that I'm having is that you have question papers which have a page like this. You don't know what's the question, you just see J. Alright? How do you then publish a question paper like this? This is something that I'm thinking about. How do you then go ahead and publish a question paper like this? How do you still ensure that you maintain the design principles that went into the platform to then say, if the question paper is not complete, we're going to tell the student that the question paper is not complete. So as you go through these units of discussions, units of peer learning, just bear in mind that this question paper is not complete, right? When you go through a question paper like this, So, yeah, I came to a point right now. I was saying that this is the objective of this video, right? This is a pain point for me, and not just the pain point, it's also time consuming, right? Like the time that you have to spend listing all of those questions and making sure that they are in the correct order and things like that. It's very painful. It's very painful, and I will have to come up with the solution. Right? This clearly isn't scalable, but I mean, you gotta do things that can scale first, right? So I'll continue doing it as much as possible, as much as I can. This is just for documenting purposes, and yeah. All right, cool. Let's continue now.